Let's talk today about when the life that you had planned for yourself isn't the life that's happening in front of you. And this came to me because I wanted to talk to you guys today about communication and the art of communication and things of this nature. But what really landed on my heart was what's currently going on in my life that I haven't even brought forward to this space. And so I wanted to share it and deepen on this. And as you're coming on, say hi. All the things, you guys know the routines. If you're new to my world, I do want to connect with you and keep this conversation going and really connect in that way. So I'm just happy that you're here. But what was going on in my mind when I was driving and thinking about communication was how many women that I'm talking to right now is like, the life I had isn't the life I had planned for myself. And I feel that because same. You know, I'm in the process of moving right now. I'm so excited about it. And yet there's a part of me that aches because I was supposed to be moving with my person. The person that I was going to spend my life with. And so it's this weird moment where I'm like, ugh. And then after that, I sunk into this deep depression. And it wasn't because of that breakup. It was that I was so fucking tired. Because I had this notion in my head, like, I have done it all. I've done the self-development. I've read the books. I've taken the courses. I've done the things. Look at me. Like, I'm so tired of being the person that has it all together. I'm so tired of feeling like I have to be perfect, that I have to be refined, that I have to, and I just was so tired. And so I did this thing where I describe it as like putting on my floaties, and I put, my healers on one arm. I put my mentor, my mastermind, my best friends, all the kind of people on one arm. And then I put my self-confidence on the other. And even though my brain felt like it was breaking, I still had this sense of confidence. And I talk about this in Alchemy of Love because it's not about the externals. It's not about this, I thought I'd have this family by then. I thought I'd have this house. I thought I'd have this income. I thought I'd have this. It's this, and even though I don't, I know I'm going to figure it out. And so I had like my flotation device on because I've known that I've survived some really dark things in my life. And I just let myself sink because it felt like I had been running from this darkness for the last decade of my life. And what I found when I sunk into it is that there's nothing to run from. And I actually don't need that much to make me happy. And although I had been doing the work, there was a different way of feeling the work because it switched up. I don't need to be fixing myself. I need to remember who I was before all this stuff, and nothing outside of myself is going to bring me that. I had this awakening, and then God had one more fucking thing. And an accident happened that rocked me physically and has rocked me mentally and has messed with my routines and the shape of my body because I can't work out in the way that I normally do, and it has messed with my concentration and my workload and the things, and it's power of 3. The life that I thought that I would have at 30 is not the life that I have. And yet I feel the most connected to who I am in my entire life. So honored to be walking in this life, so in love with who I am, so confident in who I am, so deep in love and fully supported. And so it got me thinking about these things and got me thinking about communication, because that's the thing that I wanted to walk with you guys on, because that's what we're going to be talking about next month in Arrival, and you guys can jump in. But it was in this where I'm like, how is this it? Because if I look at bird's eye view, right? If things are just pounding you with life, you're going through a hard time right now. There's a lot of things in astrology happening right now, so I know a lot of us are going through some shit. When life is just pounding you, who are you to you in that moment? That's the communication that matters. And this thing, it struck up this conversation that I actually had with an ex one time, where he had just had ACL surgery. And he, that takes quite a recovery time. A week later, me went, okay, are you ready to help out with housework? And he looked at me with such sadness, with such disgust, with such hurt. And then he brought it to therapy. And we were talking about it. And this is why I loved him so much, because it was with so much love and compassion. He looked at me with, what goes on in your head that makes you think that's okay to rush someone's healing in that type of way? And also, like, what are you going to do with our children? And what, like, this type of thing. And this is why when I'm thinking about communication, I'm thinking of that feminine essence, because that's what he invited me to, that I didn't hear at that time and I hear now, because now as I'm going through my healing journey and I can't do these kind of things, my body and my everything, I need to slow down and I need to be gentle. It's this type of invitation of embracing and expressing feminine energy within your healing and your communication with yourself. Because even though things aren't going as planned, there is something in it where you're being supported, right? Like, I can look at the things that are going on right now, the move not going as planned, it's not that it's not going as planned, it's actually going very smoothly, but like, it's not what I had planned. I thought I'd be engaged by the end of the year. I thought I met my person. I thought we were on the path. I thought my body would look a certain way. I thought my business would be at a certain point. I wanted it so bad. And so I could look at these things, but then I'm looking at, it's not that I'm getting fluffy or needing to fix it or getting in my masculine of like, okay, so problem, solution. Like, yes, there are parts that I'm doing that, but there's also this part where I'm like, can I just fully see where I'm supported? I have a beautiful a beautiful team behind the scenes that are doing everything in their power to get me back to peak health. I have the deepest friendships that God has brought into my life. The sisterhood that I thought I was so alone in, I'm seeing how beautiful and connected and wonderful these people are from around the world. I am using my resources of my mentor and my mastermind and my people. And you can sit and you can go, yeah, that's good for you, Laura, but I don't have that. I felt that. But the reason we feel these things is because we create this narrative where we don't want people to see our pain. Yet we get angry and we react from the feminine pain body and we communicate from a jaded place because we're high achievers and we don't want anyone to quote unquote think we're weak. Does that land with you? Because I remember feeling that. I didn't want anyone to be out of sorts for helping me. I didn't want anyone to know that a heartbreak actually hurt. I didn't want anyone to feel these things. But the thing that is most important in these moments, the thing that is so key, is that vulnerability, is that we think femininity and we think softness and we think fluffy and we think florals, whatever the fuck it is. One of the key things in femininity is vulnerability. And when life isn't going as planned and it's not what you had planned, it hits you in a way that is so fucking different that we then think we need to be strong and pretend it isn't fucking happening. And then what's happening inside of our head is we are absolute cunts to ourselves. I stumbled on that word because it's one of my favorite words, but I also know this is a live stream, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But we're such dicks to ourselves in the moments, because it's like, well, look at this, and we're outsourcing, we're looking beyond us, and we're so hyped in a story, as opposed to how soft and nurturing can I be in this moment to myself. It's not that I'm going to give up my goals, it's not that I'm going to do something, but how much can I surrender and open myself to see life unfolding in front of me? And that is what was my biggest shift within that, sinking moment of like, oh my God, my brain's breaking, I don't fucking know what's happening, is I started to see life where I was like, what if I'm just a passenger? For this whole time, if you guys have been here, the whole 6 years I've been doing this, I'm like, you gotta get back in your driver's seat. You gotta get back in your driver's seat. And you do, to a degree, because we are the directors, creators, and artists of our lives. You guys know I fucking love that. But there is a point where sometimes there's something better that you're fucking missing because you're trying to drive your car so hard. And because you're so caught up in the story in your head and you're so mean to yourself, that all of a sudden you're switching off your feminine essence, which is a magnet to life, to more, to all of the things that life has, and you're trying to shift, you're trying to bully your way into this new arena, into this new, what you think it's supposed to be. If it were supposed to be, it wouldn't be not that. What is supposed to be is exactly what the moment is in front of you. And so you can sit and you can think of, and I'm not going to say I'm perfect at this. I definitely think of like, it's not supposed to be this way. It's not. And then I sit and I go, but it is. It is this way. So how can I open myself to this? How can I practice the things that I want to work on from that conversation I had with that ex around, I do want to be more nurturing. I want to be more feminine. I want to be more understanding. I want to be compassionate. These aren't things I was taught as a kid, right? I was in a household of, if the loudest one won, and if there wasn't blood, there's no fucking problem, and we do not rest. Like, even my father has like blown out freaking knees. Like, he's still trying to bust it, even though his body, I wasn't modeled it. But I don't want that part of me. Not that it's bad, it helped me survive. It really got me to the point that I am in my life now. But where I want to go, this whole pre-housewife era, which is supportive, creative, feminine, being taken care of, provided for, led, like, I want to soften and fucking relax and take off my goddamn armor. Where I'm going, the parts of me that are used to surviving don't belong. And so I can look at the parts of my life right now where I'm like, all of this, all of it is to get me to where I want to go. Because I don't know if I could have done it had none of this happened. I don't know, maybe. God always has plans of always getting us to where we're supposed to go, but there's always different pathways. And so instead of fighting it, I'm like, hey, how feminine can I practice? How can I just receive this moment? How can I receive the friends that want to take care of me without me getting in my head around, yeah, but if they take care of me, then they're going to think I'm weak and vulnerable and all these kind of things. How can I remove my ego from this? How can I, when I'm coming live and talking to you guys on the podcast or Instagram live, whatever it is, wherever you're watching this, know that me telling you my shit isn't going to take away my authority? Can I receive your love? Can I receive this vulnerability with you? Can I practice being human and still not getting lost in the story? Can I practice being in feminine receivership vulnerably without needing to shift into masculine and be strong and have the drive and have it figured out and do, like, this is the art. And so even though listening to these things, and you'd be like, where the fuck is she going with this? And how is this related to communication? It is. Because the way that we communicate with others, and this is exactly what my partner had when he was saying, it was like, what goes on in your head that you don't think I deserve rest after going through all that? Because the way I was communicating to myself of, we don't rest, we don't take breaks, if we open this can of worms, we're weak. It was the way I saw the world in this harsh way. And it's not that having standards is bad, right? And I know some high achievers, but I think I have high standards, and I do think this is lazy, and I do think that, and da-da-da-da-da. Like, you can have high standards without being a dick to yourself. Because really, when it comes to the art of communication and feminine communication, and I'll talk about this at a later date when I have a better story to tell around that one, but this was on my heart. The feminine communication is around, highlighting the power of vulnerability, being vulnerable in the way that you communicate, active listening, your body language, actually listening to yourself, letting yourself be vulnerable, letting your body rest, letting you take extra naps, letting your body tell you when you don't need to be pushing through and needing that third cup of coffee and doing these things, or, doing stuff, like listening to this vessel that is so wise. Can you actively listen to your vessel? And then it moves into, creating understanding, empathetic understanding, compassionate understanding. That is all a man wants from you when it comes to listening, right? We think, and this is like the funny part where it's like, I can witness we both have masculine, feminine energetics inside of us. But like when it comes to communication, you can feel your masculine coming in where it's like, I want to fix it. I want to move through this. I want to do this. Here's the solution. That's the masculine. The feminine is like, eat your acai bowl. Take a nap. Don't put pants on. It's okay. And when we can understand these two, we can actually understand communication principles. So I'm going to explain all of this inside of our Arrival Masterclass, which is on August 1st. If you want to come join that right now, you can check out Arrival for 14 days free. Just message me Arrival and I'll send you the link. But that's a fun place to go into. But really what all of this has to say is when life isn't going as planned. It's not, you hit a certain age number, you're 30 years old. We all go through it. Where it's like, I thought I would be married with kids by now. I would have my house. I'd be invested in the market. I'd be doing this and be doing that. Like, I thought I would be there. We hear this a lot. I thought I'd be a millionaire by 30. I thought I'd be married by 30. So much fucking pressure around 30. Who are you to you in that moment? And I can almost guarantee how you are to you is a huge indication light of your cock block in communication with your relationships. Even if you're not doing it, it is felt through your body, right? Like I can think of people where it's like, I know you're saying supportive things, but I can feel the judgment in your body. I was one of these people. It's like, I know the polite thing to say. I know the person I want to be, but slightly inside of my head, I think you're weak and you should have it together and you shouldn't be such an emotional mess. And like I could witness my thoughts about them. Not that I was even saying them. I was still being the supportive friend. I was still being the supportive partner. But there was an energy of I'm actually slightly judging you. Because in return, I am slightly judging myself. I know you guys fucking get this. That's part of the journey. And so being compassionate and kind to yourself in the moments of this moment, that life isn't going as planned. Witness your thoughts without fixing them, without making them wrong, because the more that you compound that negative emotion, the more it compounds into your nervous system. You're already feeling the negative emotion. What we need to do is get it out. That's the somatic parts of all of this. It's allowing yourself to release these things. But what we do is, I'm feeling a negative emotion. I'm feeling bitter. I'm feeling jealous. I'm feeling annoyed. I'm feeling disappointed. I'm feeling guilt. I'm feeling shame. Compound. You fucking idiot. You're not there right now. You shouldn't be feeling guilt. You shouldn't be feeling shame. We know this. We're in self-development. We know we shouldn't be feeling these things. Compound. Like, we compound these with our self-judgment and another narrative and another story. As opposed to just feeling the feelings of disappointment. I am so sad I'm not moving with sexy man. And that's it. I'm not trying to pony my way up over it. Tell myself I should get over it by now. Because we're calling in our Vicodin and we're doing it. No, it's a weird moment. Of course, I'd be shocked if I wasn't sad. I am so annoyed with this whole thing. With my body and my mind and my things. Because it's so inconvenient. And do I also know that it's a blessing? And I'm learning these lessons and I get to teach you guys about this stuff and I know there's going to be a great story and I know this movie of my life. Yeah, I know all those things. But in the moment when I am feeling, oh my God, this feels so invasive. Oh my God, this is not me. This is not how I do things. Like, I just let that be. Can you just let that be? Because when we first start with communications, like, I will give you steps and tools and guidelines and things like that inside of this masterclass and inside of our training. And you guys know inside of Arrival, I already give you guys stuff like this, of course. But the most important part to start at is your conversation with yourself. Witnessing it, transmuting, creating safety in your body. Because most often, the conversations, like what my partner pointed out to me at the time, it was my mom. Like, it was my mom. That's how I was raised. In my house. Her voice was in my head. And so in order to get that out, I had to get it out of my body. That's why I say somatics. Somatics is connecting the body to the mind, because you might be watching this and you might be like, Laura, actually you're so right. The voice inside my head is like this and da-da-da-da. But the more affirmations I do, like, it's not really working. And I've been working on this in therapy for the last 10 years and it's not really doing anything. That's because your body has to get in line with this. This is the start of feminine communication. The start of many. Is life. You didn't write the rule book. You're here as a passenger. You're going to eventually get to the end of your line. And you're going to be sitting there. And you're going to go up to the heavens. And the angels are going to look at you. And they're going to go, oh my God, how is the human experience? What happened? And you can go, I didn't get to marry so-and-so. I was so annoyed with the shape of my body and my skin. And I never hit this milestone financially. And I had to move by myself. And I had to do this stuff by myself. And I had to, by myself. I was so annoyed all the time. It didn't go my way. I'm so fucking annoyed. And they're like, we're going to send you back down there because you didn't get it. Or you get to the end of your life and you're like, so, nothing on his planned. It was a huge fucking party. And this happened, and I learned this, and oh my God, my body did this, and I didn't know what to do, so I learned how to play with it and dress it in different ways, and I learned how to rest and play and be in my feminine and be taken care of, and also I did this like crazy masculine stuff where I like fucking made a shit ton of money, and I changed the world, and I made this. Oh my God, it was so wild, the things that I experienced, and none of it could I have guessed. That's unfun. You made it. Ding! On to the next level. That's what I mean by you are the artist of your life. You don't control it. Yes, manifestation and da-da-da-da. I know you guys will come at me in that one, but like, your art is how you respond, right? Like, I still believe all of these things are part of my manifestation. Weird ass ways they have been. I want to learn to be provided for. Okay, we're going to give you a team to be provided for, but in a very fucking weird ass way. I want, closer connection to my family. Okay. I want to feel deeper within my sisterhood. Okay. Like, it's things. Can you trust that there's a plan? And can you witness your thoughts in the process of that plan unfolding? Because the more you do that, the more you'll change your life. The thing is, we've stored all of this shit inside of us because it's our ego wanting to, it's the childhood wounds of like, we wanted to prove, honestly, all of our goals are to prove some type of childhood wound right. Like, I want to prove my dad wrong, so therefore I have this business and I want to hit this goal and I want to, like, we all have these things. And they can really get in the way of our happiness because you're missing the moment right in front of you. Because of a moment you made up in your head. And it's not that it's going to be the most beautiful moment of your life. Right now, it's not if I took out how I actually feel about it, this is not the most beautiful moment of my life, but it is the most beautiful moment of my life. I love this chapter. I will tell my kids about this chapter. I am telling my best friends on the internet about this chapter. Because that's the story I'm writing. I became my own best friend in this. I saw how much of me was still left to come through in this. And the reason I was able to hold myself through this is because of the alchemy process. Truly. And that isn't yes, I am going to talk about alchemy of love, but because it's the best thing on the fucking world, but truly, the things I'm going through and the way I'm processing it, the way this all is because of alchemy of love. Because it wasn't just about finding love. That isn't ever the thing. Yes, of course, that is the outcome we all want. We all want our Vikings and things like that. But the journey of alchemy of love and the reason it's so transformative is because you're transforming your love life from the inside out, which means you're not walking around being emotionally unavailable to yourself, which means you stop attracting emotionally unavailable partners. It means you're no longer walking around like an active trigger where everything's popping off and triggering you and making you angry and doing this. You are alchemized. You're no longer hustling and working 14-hour days to fucking prove yourself and doing these things. You know your fucking art. You know how to communicate your art because you know you're rare and valuable. Therefore, you're sunbathing and 10 new clients come in. That's this process. It is a neutralized nervous system. It's rewiring the traumas of your past that are stuck in victimhood and stuck in stuckness, in finding the feminine flow and the softness of life. That's what the pre-housewife era is. Because I know you're just like me, where you're like, I'm tired. How I talked about when I was like sinking and I put my floaties on and I was just so fucking tired from the last 10 years about running and hustling and trying to prove myself, and I'm like, I'm fucking done. It doesn't mean you're just done and you quit. It means you surrender. And I know you feel that because I've spoken to so many of you. It's like, I just don't want to feel like I have to fucking have it all together anymore. But I don't want to feel like a mess, and I don't want to lose my authority in the process. How the fuck do I do that? You heal the feminine pain body. That's what that entire program is all about. And I know that might sound like gibberish to you, but feminine pain body is the feminine wounds that we have within our body that are stored within our nervous system, all caused by trauma. Even if you don't identify with the word trauma, we all have it. It's also the mindset that we feel like we have to prove ourselves in this masculine world and we have to be seen but not heard. And it's all of this stuff we have within us that are blocking us from actually showing up in the authentic version of who you are. That is what alchemy of love does. It sets you free so that you become the best partner you could possibly be, because you're no longer sitting there beating yourself up, looking for your needs to get met in another partner, so therefore you're spilling onto them, and then you're sitting here thinking someone's going to save you, or you're sitting here with walls up because you don't want anyone to actually judge you for being vulnerable, when at the deepest core, you're craving someone to really know you. And the only way to get to know that is for you getting to know yourself on such a deep level and alchemizing your love from the inside out. It is the only way to get you there. And that's why when these things come up where it's like, fuck me, life isn't going as planned, it doesn't faze you. Because you sit there and you're like, oh my God, life is happening and unfolding in front of me. It's 222, which is my numbers. And so this landed on my heart when I was driving today, because it's the beginning of feminine communication, which is what you're going to be hearing me talk a lot about in the coming week. And so if you're one of these people that is like, but Laura, life is really a stickle pickle right now. How do I show up? How do I put one foot in front of the other? How do I get over him? How do I believe in myself? How do I pick myself up off that floor? Save this and listen to this over and over again, because I wish I would have heard it. I mean, I did hear it because I was in my head, sending myself voice notes in the darkest time just a few months ago. Because when you can remind yourself that you're actually not in control, but you do get to write a different narrative, and that you get to be fully resourced, whether that's hiring to work with me one-on-one, whether that's alchemy of love, whether that's arrival, whether that's saving this, listening to it, listening to more podcasts on our page, like whatever that is, you are resourced, you are supported. Your invitation is to go witness what your thought patterns are to you in this moment. Are you making it mean you're a failure? are you fighting against what reality is? And how can you rewire that to learn to surrender? So you can ultimately be a witness to life and therefore create your reality. I know those two statements don't necessarily go together because we have been in this fucking think it and make it so movement. But that thing of being feminine, and I know that's the thing you crave, and I know you crave a masculine man, and the biggest thing here, to call in a masculine, high-value, emotionally available partner, is you being that to you right now. In this moment, right now, when none of it fucking makes sense. Without fixing it. But doing something about it so that you feel home to yourself. And the difference between that is fixing it is, I'm gonna, write my affirmations and do this and make myself feel wrong about this until I feel right about it. So I'm going to source outside of myself. I'm going to do this thing. No. Find the people, find the programs, find the support network that brings you back to yourself. Helps you remember who you were before the trauma of your past told you had to earn love. That you had to do something right in order to be worthy. Because that shit is fucked. That is not reality. You right now are worthy of love just as you are. You right now are worthy of the life that you have right now. Even though it can suck, there is something in it where it's like, this is fucking beautiful. And in that moment, when you finally get to that moment, your entire life will turn around. I promise you that. But the stronger you fight it, the more you're compounding this into your nervous system, the cycles repeat, because that's how our nervous system works until we learn the lesson. This is your invitation to learn the lesson. And if you're ready for that and you're ready to really alchemize this, alchemy of love, jump in there. It's 8 weeks, 1 module a week, journal prompts, embodiment practices, somatic work. Like, it'll change your life. We have payment plans, or you can reach out, we can book in a call to see what would be a good fit for you based on where you're at. Like, there are so many options. You just have to decide to do something, because how many times have you said, I don't have time right now, I'm not too busy, and then the cycle repeats itself. And then you're like, this time I'll do something, this time I'll do something, this time I'll do something. Like, this time, do something. Become something. Remember who you were. Because the truth is, life is never going to be how you had it planned. It's going to be even more beautiful. It always is. And the reason, and I get asked this all the time from my clients, how, when life is like this, are you happy? Because I know there's something greater out there. That's what this tattoo is. If not this, something better. And instead of trying to control life, I'm learning how to ride the waves. Become a better surfer. And so if you're in that moment where it's like, my life isn't what I thought it'd be planned. Like, I had this plan. I thought I'd be married. I thought I'd have these kids. I thought I'd have this financial set point. I thought I'd have this. If you're in that moment right now, what are you doing about it? How are you healing this? How are you coming home to yourself in this moment? How are you speaking to yourself in this moment? Because how you're speaking to yourself in this moment dictates how this moment is going to go. And so I invite you into the next step, into Alchemy of Love, into Iconic, into Arrival, whichever one lands. Arrival is our monthly membership. We have one masterclass every first of the month. Next month is all around communication. So jump in if this is what you want. You have a 14-day free trial on that. Iconic is my one-on-one. Glenda, I'm so happy you're here. Iconic is my one-on-one. That is 6 months together. You get access to everything. And plus 3 calls a month with me, and then a week of integration. And then you have Alchemy of Love, which is our 8-week signature program, walking you all through so that you can become the pre-housewife, a more alchemist. Like, you neutralize everything. It's somatic principles. It's making you ready. I don't like the way I said that. It's helping you step into being emotionally available so that you can actually start attracting emotionally available partners, high value partners, learning how to communicate them, learning how to communicate with yourself, learning how to embody this version of you that you want to come alive so that you're actually in your feminine essence to call in this masculine man. So those are the 3 options. You can also book in a call if you want, if that's just easier to like discuss which one would be a better fit for you. My calendar is open for that. So either way, I love you so much. Share this with someone that it could have landed on their heart, like they need to hear it. Save this, come back to it, comment what landed for you in this. I love the conversations with you guys. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Linda. I am so in love with this life and you and this journey and all the things. So thank you. Enjoy your day and happy healings.